All right, so this is my grinding table I made for grinding cleaning pieces after I get done cutting them on my plasma table, or if I got weld them and grind them up. So it's 2 feet deep and 5 feet long, and then on each end, you can see down here behind the grinders are fans, and then you got another one over on this side. So just this 20-inch box fans, like the cheapy $15 ones. And then behind them is a washable furnace filter, 20 by 20 washable furnace filter. So when I turn it on, the fans kick on and it starts to suck air down, and it keeps the grinding mess, the slag and pieces that chip off of the plasma, it keeps it a lot better contained. I mean, it still makes a little bit of a mess, but it works a lot better. So what I also have is this is just like an eBay magnetic check I bought. So small pieces can just go on there, and then you just flip them over, and that doesn't move them around, so you can clean them up. They don't go sliding. Anything over probably about 6 by 6 inches can just sit right on the mat here. This is just a rubber floor mat. I think it was like a 2 by 5 one I bought, or 3 by 5 or something at Home Depot. The one downside was like all these little holes right here, like all the little ones, like these ones here, those I had to drill all those out. I had originally made it without that on there. The pieces slid around too much, so I went and found this mat. I definitely should have done a better job of making all the holes line up. If I do it again, I would make sure that whatever rubber mat I put on top, the holes line up a lot better, because I got a lot of them blocked. So like underneath this mat here are the trays. So this is what I originally had. It's just 16 gauge bent on the pieces. I just made them until I got down to the last one, adjusted the size of the last one until they all fitted nice and tight. So I'll show inside there in a second, but the way I have it set up right now is when you turn it on right here, a light I have mounted up above here turns on, and then I have all of my grinders. I got 5 different grinders set up here, you know, hard wheel, cutting wheel, the wire dotted wheel, probably want to use them both, then like a sanding wheel and a flap wheel. So I'm not messing with changing wheels if I'm trying to do something different. I just grab a different grinder. I definitely need to redo these plugs and put like some plugs on the front for the cords, because they kind of get in the way, especially when you start trying to swap between grinders. You start knotting them up and tying them together. But the light over the top makes it so it's a lot easier to grind. One of the biggest issues was before, originally I didn't have this piece. This was just a piece of scrap I had laying around. I didn't have that, so this has probably made the biggest difference, because everything hits this one, it just kind of stacks up right here and eventually falls in. So I pop open that inside so you can kind of take a look inside. They're pretty dirty, but take a look inside real quick. All right, so I just pulled out half of it so you can kind of get a better idea, but it looks the exact same on the other side. So this is just the furnace fan right here. I mean, you can see it pulled out quite a bit of the dust out of the air that would have been sucked out of here. So you can see kind of everything just ends up falling down into here, and then eventually I can sweep it up and clean it up. To change the furnace, I just pick out these 3 screws out here. I can pull that out, and then I can take that filter out, go hose it out, and stick it back in there. So I don't have to worry about it, you know, throwing them away and buying new ones every time. So that's pretty much how this works. I definitely like having that light over the top. Makes it a lot easier to see what I'm doing. And then if I was going to change stuff, I'd probably put bigger fans in it so that it pulled more air out of it. Got a little bit better pull. And then definitely lining up all the holes between the mat and the pieces I put across the top. Like I said, I didn't have the mat when I designed it originally, so that would definitely help a bunch. And then this piece was just a scrap I had laying around. I kind of half cut to see if it was worth doing, and it's worked well enough I haven't even bothered to try to make a better one yet. But that could probably use an improvement. But having it on that right side where all the grinding stuff gets tossed off the grinding wheel is definitely needed. I don't really need one on the other end. So, and then put the electrical either somewhere in the front, and then obviously paint it. I just kind of started using it and haven't gotten around to painting it. So that's how this works, and I'm definitely glad I have it. It's definitely cut down the amount of mess I have in my shop. you don't have to sweep up nearly as much as I used to, or tracking nearly as much as I used to. And it keeps it way better contained. So my overall height on it too is about 34 inches to the wheels, so, or to the top with it on the casters, and that's a good height. Like, it's maybe just a touch low for me, and I'm 5'9", but my wife comes in sometimes will grind stuff for me if I got a bunch of stuff I need to do. So it works a lot better for her. So she's at like 5'4" or so. Plus, if I put bigger things on there, then it makes it a little bit easier. So anyway, that's how this thing works. I'm glad I have it, and definitely worth having it. Anyway, any questions, let me know.